I think Spence will be in the Hall of Fame.
Right now? No, how? He fought in one division. He had the WBC, WBA,
He wasn't undisputed. He
no,
wasn't
no,
undisputed.
he wasn't. No, what I'm saying is they already called him a weight bully. He beat Kell Brook coming off of a loss, an eye injury. He beat Sean Porter.
In all fairness, he had to go over there to get that.
You know what I mean? That's a good win. I'm still a fan. I hope he do well. But like, once it got to the point where I moved up in weight and I'm in the same weight as Spence, it's just like, oh man, you ain't fighting nobody. You this, you that, you this, you that. So now they trying to blemish my accomplishment just to boost him up. I'm like, dude, you're not gonna do that, because I can retire right now and be in the Hall of Fame. He couldn't. Everything that I've accomplished, he's still trying to accomplish. I don't want to sound like I'm hating on him. I honestly don't know if he make it to the Hall of Fame with the accolades that he didn't got right now.
Terence Crawford has dismissed Errol Spence's call for a rematch, even questioning whether Spence deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Crawford argued that Spence has only fought in one weight class, whereas Crawford himself has become undisputed in multiple divisions. Crawford believes Spence can be considered a Hall of Famer just with his 147-pound achievements, and he doesn't think Spence's legacy holds up.
Possibility where you would rematch Errol Spence, or is he in a position where he needs to win again before that makes sense for you?
The possibility is there.
Mm-hmm.
He's fighting for Door for his title. I'm fighting for a title, and there's the possibility. He win his fight, God willing. I win my fight, God willing, and there's your possibility right there.
Errol Spence has called for a rematch with Terence Crawford, making it clear he wants another chance to fight. The idea of a second fight is still very much alive. Spence, despite losing to Crawford the first time, is confident he can make the necessary adjustments and show a better version of himself in a second bout.
Same question, but I want your reaction. Is a Errol Spence rematch on the table still, or?
Nah.
All right, we're gonna wrap that. I'm trying to tell you.
Terence Crawford quickly shot down Errol Spence's call for a rematch with a direct tweet. Crawford simply replied, "Sorry, buddy, you've got to wait in line, sir." He made it clear that he is focused on other opponents first, leaving Spence to wait for his chance.
I don't agree, because he beat some notable names up there. You know, he beat Sean Porter, he beat Lamont Peterson,
Danny Garcia.
So you can't say that he's not a Hall of Fame if he's beat world champions, you know, and beat them like in a different way. So I don't agree with that answer right there that he said. I think he's a Hall of Famer. I feel like anybody who make it to that big stage and beat them big name champions is a Hall of Famer. He did something that nobody else done. So, you know.
Like technically, he's a three-time champ because he won 3 belts.
Yeah. He was unified. Wasn't he unified?
Yeah, he was unified. It was just one. He was one away.
You can't say a person is not a Hall of Famer if he's unified. Once you unified, you made them. I feel like once you become a world champion, you made them history books.
Yeah, once you become a world champion, you make the history books, of course. But I think
unified is Hall of Fame.
You think so?
Yeah.
Guaranteed?
Yeah, because you got all the belts.
Crawford's recent remarks about Errol Spence have stirred up quite a bit of debate in the boxing world. Fans and experts have been questioning whether a fighter of Crawford's caliber should be so dismissive of another champion. While some believe trash talk is part of boxing, others feel it goes against the sport's code of respect. Boxing analyst Stephen Hops has defended Spence, pointing out that he's fought some of the best, including Sean Porter, and his record proves he's a skilled and accomplished fighter. To disregard his achievements is both unfair and disrespectful.
And retire right now and be in the Hall of Fame. He couldn't.
Not think Spence will be in the Hall of Fame.
Right now? No, how?
Then Bud, what you do? Cause Bud, Errol is your one, and you just shitted on him. I remember you dissing me on X because you want and deserve respect, and all of us are here to give it to you. But when you go shitting on another fantastic fighter who happens to be the marquee opponent on your resume, then brother, people are going to start flipping tables and they're going to start looking at you. Bottom line, Errol Spence is great and you whipped his ass. Sean Porter is great and you whipped that ass. And what you're daring to do to take on Canelo Alvarez is beyond great. Now it's crazy. Good shit.
Since his win over Spence, Crawford has been widely praised for his exceptional skills and dominance in the ring. However, his latest comments have upset many fans, who feel that someone of his stature should show more respect to an opponent like Spence, who has built a solid legacy. Ray Jackson expressed his frustration, tweeting, "Terence Crawford said this back in January about boxing fans, and now he's being disrespectful to Errol Spence." This tweet captures the disappointment many fans feel about Crawford's behavior. Analyst Showbiz the Adult also shared his thoughts, saying that while Crawford earned respect for his dominant win over Spence, his recent remarks have caused some fans to reconsider their view of him.
I said that Terence Crawford, his accomplishments aren't great enough. You have people jumping in my comments talking about two-time undisputed and all this shit. When it comes to being great, it's not about just becoming undisputed. It's how you become undisputed, how you become champion, who you face. Because hell, Devin Haney fought Kambosos to become undisputed in one swoop. What? That makes him as great as Ali? Hell no. So if you say that Errol Spence isn't a Hall of Famer, bud, we start looking at y'all. Let's talk about Spence. He got the belts and unified, but who did he take the belts from, and what did he try to do with you? Spence's road that you're shitting on is more violent than your—
A major point of discussion following Crawford's comments has been the strength of the opponents that Spence has faced compared to those Crawford has fought. Some argue that Spence's road to the top has been tougher, having battled elite fighters throughout his career. According to some analysts, becoming undisputed isn't just about collecting titles. It's about proving yourself by fighting the best.
I haven't heard anything yet, and like I said before, it's in the contract, so it's not if I'm open to it or not. It's, you know, what's in the contract, and Errol gave me an opportunity and a shot at becoming the first male boxer undisputed, you know, in any division in a 4-belt era, and I honor, you know, that. And if he was to come to me or activate his rematch, then I honor it.
Terence Crawford recently addressed a rematch clause in his contract with Spence, confirming that a second fight is possible, but he hasn't decided when it will happen. Many are eager to see if Spence will get the chance to prove himself after his dominant loss to Crawford. A rematch could be Spence's opportunity to show that he can learn from his mistakes and come back stronger.
Like, yeah, you know, he's ready. Right when I seen that, I said Crawford wins. His movement, everything was, he wins. It doesn't matter if Spence was not strong or strong. He had more of the stuff to win that fight. And Crawford is a game player. He's gonna come. He coming to win. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I still say Crawford anyway, but I feel bad that we didn't see the true Spence fight Crawford. If that makes any sense. I just think that Crawford has more rhythm, more movement, more stuff, and not just having more movement, more stuff. He has the power and everything just to be one of those great fighters. He has everything. And if you have Spence is not one-dimensional, but he's in that fight he was really one-dimensional, really stiff, and if they looked like they had really a lot of problems trying to get down to his weight, didn't have enough time to work on stuff they need to work on to, you know, attack Crawford or to do anything to Crawford. And then when they got in the ring, you know, he was so weak. I mean, Crawford dropping him with right jabs. We're like, dang, that boat just dropping him.
Boxing legend Shane Mosley weighed in on the rematch, saying that he believes Crawford would win again, no matter how much Spence improves. Mosley suggested that Spence should consider avoiding the rematch and instead focus on rebuilding his career.
Has he exercised his immediate rematch clause?
I don't know if it's gonna be at 54 or 47, but I'm sure he probably gonna push the weight up. But there's no gonna be no change in the decision. The performance still is gonna be the same. It might be even a little bit better. So, you know, he might want to watch out before he activate the rematch clause.
Crawford's trainer, Brian B.A.C. McIntyre, echoed Mosley's thoughts, predicting that a rematch would end in the same result. Back emphasized that Crawford's performance in their first fight was no accident.
I mean, it could happen. I mean, why not? If Crawford want to challenge himself to be great, let him try to be great. You know, so you know what I'm saying, I'm with it. So you know, I'll be going for Bud. You know, if he fight Canelo, I'll be going for him. I mean, I don't know if he gonna win or lose, but I'll definitely be going for Crawford. I think if anybody can pull it off, he can pull it off.
Yeah.
You know, he's chasing greatness, so why not? Canelo came up to 175 and all that, and fought Kovalev and fought the other guy too. So I mean, if he can do it, and he started at 147. So I mean, if he's doing it, why can't Crawford do it?
Despite his loss, Spence has made it clear that he still wants another shot at Crawford. He pointed out that if Crawford is willing to fight Canelo Alvarez, then he should also be open to a rematch with him. Spence remains confident that with the right changes, he can perform much better in a second fight.
Do the rematch and then go for other fights, or do you think this is kind of like the cherry on top, and after this he should more or less retire on top?
Bud has two options. A, he can continue going up in weight, see how far he can go. I think he said already 54 is his max, so he could campaign that going to 54, maybe doing a rematch, or like I said, let Errol get himself back together first, when it makes more sense, then do a rematch. You understand me? So for me, to let Errol get himself together first, then do a rematch is much better. To fight him right now, it's not good because, like I said, just the weight gain was not the only problem.
Boxing legend Roy Jones Jr. has suggested two options for Crawford. Either fight Spence in an immediate rematch or take on another opponent before facing him again. Jones believes that fighting someone else first could be a good strategy, allowing Crawford to stay sharp and keep his options open.
Matter of fact, let me make a plea over the international digital airwaves of YouTube. Let me make a plea right now to Terence Crawford. I understand you just beat him. You beat him thoroughly. You're the undisputed welterweight champion of the world, the WBO, the WBA, the WBC, the IBF titles, but you hugged him after the fight for a reason. I am making a plea to Terence Crawford. Even if you elect to give Errol Spence Jr. a rematch, please do not do this for at least a year. Please don't do that. Y'all are cool with one another. I'm begging you, my brother. I'm begging you. Because I know you got love, and I'm begging Errol Spence Jr., as good as you are, you were just outclassed. I say that respectfully because I got mad respect for Errol Spence Jr. Please, please do not fight Errol Spence Jr.
Sports commentator Stephen A. Smith also shared his opinion, advising Crawford to wait at least a year before fighting Spence again. Smith believes that an immediate rematch might not be in Crawford's best interest. He thinks that waiting would make the second fight more exciting and more competitive.
That's dope, man.
And I really appreciate you just being a regular dude who's very, 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 very skilled at something. I'm glad you're getting your flowers, and I hope the biggest of bags come your way in these next few years with how things play out for you, man.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks.
Because you earned
bro.
it. You earned it, bro.
And you gave us listen, entertainment. You know what I mean? From beginning to end, it was a real display. So we appreciate you taking time, bro.
Hey, I appreciate y'all having me, man. I appreciate it.
Before we go, how soon will we get the rematch? Do you know that calendar? You know how that calendar is gonna play out?
Probably if it happened, it'd probably be the end of this year.
That's soon.
Yeah.
Like a December situation, probably something like that.
Yeah.
There you
All
go.
right.
Terence Bud Crawford, the undisputed welterweight champion of the world.
Nice Howard Cosell there, bro.
Crawford's dominant victory over Spence earned him tremendous respect from the boxing community. Beating an undisputed champion like Spence in such a decisive manner solidified Crawford's legacy. However, his recent remarks have caused some people to question his character. While Crawford's skills are undeniable, many fans and analysts now view him differently because of his lack of sportsmanship.
I want to see Bud be great, but what better buffer to see if Bud's ready at 68 than the EJ rematch of 54 and 60? And how exciting would it be to watch Errol Spence he walks at 190. I'm 185 pounds right now. I'm 5'11". To think of me cutting, and I train, to think of me cutting 50 pounds ever is fucking crazy. To think that Errol Spence Jr. walks at 190 and fights at 47 is crazy. To now think that a rematch could happen at 60, god damn, what are we talking about? Then you get to see EJ loading up on that double jab of his. You get to see muscled up a little bit. He'll be a bit more durable. Then we get to see Bud's magistry, Bud's footwork. There's so many storylines. So I'll end it with this. I've ranted a bit too far. For all you those out there saying nobody wants to see this too, it's a whitewash, it won't be competitive, you guys don't know boxing.
Despite the controversy surrounding Crawford, excitement for a potential rematch remains high. Many fans believe that if Spence moves up in weight and gains muscle, he could be a stronger and more competitive opponent in a second fight. A potential rematch at 160 pounds could shift the dynamic to the bout and give Spence a better chance.
Which would lead Crawford to victory. And the clue that I saw was that of all the fights, I think at 38 fights, of all those fights, he only fought 2 southpaws. So what is that telling you? That's telling you that he has trouble with southpaw, because to have only 2 out of 38 fights, it means that his people or himself have looked to avoid southpaws. Now, Terence's big strength is that he fights equally well from either side. So instead of opening up as a right-hander, which he usually does, and then switching to southpaw, he only fought Spence as a southpaw, and Spence couldn't handle it, particularly when Crawford, who's ambidextrous, and now his right hand is his jab, is throwing it with force and hurting Spence. So once I saw Terence come out as a southpaw, in my mind, I thought, hey, the fight's over.
Were you surprised, though, by how dominant he was?
No, because Spence can't fight a lefty, and nobody even mentioned that. He can't fight a southpaw. If Crawford had fought him 5 or 6 rounds as an orthodox fighter, it would have been a different fight.
You know, given just the performance that he had and now the attention that he's getting and the recognition, how do you feel? What emotions come to mind seeing that, hey, he's finally getting his just due when so many years a lot of people try to dismiss him?
Well, I don't know if anybody dismissed him because of his ability. They dismissed him because of his drawing power or what have you. Terence was I consider Terence a great fighter before the Spence fight, and I consider him a great fighter after the fight. You know, and his dominance didn't surprise me. He is the full boat. Now, what will eventually catch up with him catches up with all of them, and that's father time. He is 35, going on 36. So at a particular point in time, not now, but down the road.
Promoter Bob Arum has suggested that physical issues may have played a role in Spence's loss to Crawford. Arum praised Crawford for his dominant performance, stating that it was no surprise. He also predicted that even if the rematch took place at a higher weight, the outcome would likely remain the same. Arum believes Crawford's skill level is simply too much for Spence to handle.
Did the right around round 7, and I basically was saying, I know his camp and I know him. A lot of pride, a lot of heart, but you have to understand that you're not going to win this fight. If there was an adjustment you were able to find, you would have found it sooner. You're battered up, and let's leave this night where it is and move forward and become stronger from this night. And I just thought that if it had continued, that it might take away some of the things he may be able to do in and out of the ring, because as the saying goes, you never leave the ring the same way you went in, and it truly is the case, unless of course you are Terence Bud Crawford, who had amazing defense and an amazing offensive showing on fight night, and you don't get hit, you know.
Yeah, now you know this firsthand because you fought both of these guys before. your dad was your coach, so you had a strong relationship there. Now, if you were coaching Spence, would you have thrown in the towel for him? When would you have done that?
I do believe that I heard he asked Errol one time if he wanted to continue, and so I do know that at the small capacity, at the least, they contemplated throwing in the towel. And I think that Derrick James is smart enough to know, hey, something has to happen. I just think that they didn't want to go, for the sake of words, go out like that. And no one does, but realism has to play a major role, especially in the sport of boxing, because realism means if I haven't won more than 6 rounds at this point, I can't even get a draw. And then he had been knocked down already. You have to look at the realism, man. You're not going to win this fight unless you get a knockout. You haven't landed one clean shot or numerous clean shots the entire night. Is that punch going to land? And when you look at realism, it says, let go of the pride, stop this fight, live the fight another day.
Former champion Sean Porter, who has faced Spence in the past, believes Spence has what it takes to win a rematch. Porter has seen Spence's abilities firsthand and thinks that with the right adjustments, Spence can come back stronger. While many are writing Spence off, Porter remains confident that Spence can still defeat Crawford.
He exercised his immediate rematch clause?
I don't know if it's gonna be at 54 or 47, but I'm sure he's probably gonna push the weight up. But there's no gonna be no change in the decision. The performance still is gonna be the same. Might be even a little bit better. So he might want to watch out before he activates the rematch clause.
That's all for today's video. Stay tuned for more updates.